and gentlemen, good Sunday afternoon to everyone. I'm Lisa Lee, for those of you who don't know me, and basically I'm here today to talk to two amazing powerhouses in our community. We have Abebe Lewis from Circle House Studios, as well as Sully G. Hey, Abebe. And we have Sully G, and she's coming all the way from New York. Abebe is here in South Florida. I'm in South Florida as well. And again, this is National Association of Black Journalists, South Florida chapter. And today we are going to talk about how do you monetize and grow your social media. So I have two people with us today who has done just that. They've monetized and they have grown their social media. I know, Abebe, you have multiple businesses that you have branched into. Sully G, I know you're getting a lot of endorsements lately. So congratulations to both of you on the success that you've achieved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So before we get started, I want to give each of you like a minute to just introduce yourselves to the audience and to tell everyone who you are and what you do so that they have an understanding of, you know, why are you an expert to talk about all of this. So we'll start with Abebe.
Okay, definitely, man. I grew up in the music business my whole life. My father is Ian Lewis and my uncle is Roger Lewis from the music reggae iconic group Inner Circle. They made the theme song for Cops, Bad Boys, that's featured in the Cops television show, reality show series, which was one of the first reality shows of all time. And also the movie, of course, Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3 of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Another hit they did was Girl, I'm Gonna Make You Sweat, A La 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 Long, which was another big international reggae hit that Shakira just redid with Anuel and took it back up on that level, 200 million streams. My little brother is Lunch Money Lewis. You see his plaque right behind me. He's a singer-songwriter. He wrote theme songs and also, but me and my family have been in the business for so many years. And I started off actually like being a producer. Like when I first got into the game, I wanted to produce beats. I wanted to do the typical stuff. But then I thought about it like this was before social media was ever invented. And I was like, how can I take my beats and my productions and different things to the next level? Because it's great I'm doing beats and just stacking beats, stacking productions. I have 100 songs sitting there. What I'm going to do with them if I don't go out there and connect with people and try to shop and sell these different things? So I created a Abebe Lewis Marketing and Branding Group, which was my marketing company, where I got to work with a lot of these guys via the studio and I got to really know them. Like behind me, Trick, Trina, and Two Live Crew, and I got to know them personally. So I knew the things that they liked and different things. So it's just the access of our studio, Circle House Studios, which is one of the biggest recording studios here in Miami, Florida. So I know I could talk forever. So next.
That's cool. That's cool. We got hours, so that's fine. We love to hear it, especially when you start throwing names out like Trick and Trina, and you got Two Live Crew, and then you like glanced over all the successes of your family. Talk about Bad Boy and la 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 la. Like that's the big stuff. Like
yeah,
it
definitely.
In it, you know. So to have grown up in that is amazing. So I really look forward to hearing more about what you're going to tell us and the things that you've seen, especially growing up here in South Florida. Definitely. But right now, I'm going to transition over to Sully. Sully G, you're all the way in New York. You're a true New Yorker, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and I'm a native New Yorker.
Nice, nice. A lot of us do like to throw up, you know, whenever they say it's Brooklyn in the house, everybody's like, without a doubt. And a lot of us were born in New York, but then we migrated to South Florida. So talk to us a little bit about, you know, what you do and why are you an expert for us to, you know, hear about monetizing and growing our social media?
Absolutely. So I am a natural hair, beauty, and lifestyle content creator. I've been doing this since, I mean, it's been almost 4 years now, but before content creator was actually a term, that wasn't really a term as of before 2 years ago. And my journey really just started in college, I would say. I went to the University at Albany. I was very involved in fashion and the NAACP, and I went through a natural hair journey. So I was watching some YouTubers on YouTube on how to, you know, fix my hair and get my hair back to it being curly. And I noticed a shift in perspective. I was looking at videos and I was getting like curly hair tips, natural hair tips. And then I started looking at videos from the perspective of like, oh my God, I really love this branding, or I love this typography. I love this transition. And so when I saw that pivot, I noticed that like my mind was changing and I wanted to be in front of the camera as opposed to behind it, just taking tips. So funny enough, my mother moved to North Carolina and she told me like, listen, I'm moving in 3 months. So do you want the apartment or do you want me to rent it out to someone? And I was like, well, if I take the apartment, I can turn the second room, which is this room, into a studio and I can start creating videos. So I was like, I'm going to do it. So I did all my research. And on January 1st makes 4 years, the day that she moved out, my camera came in and I started my journey. So it really was just supposed to start off as documenting my natural hair journey. And then one big brand, it was like a teeth dental brand, caught one of my photos and I got paid about $17,000 for a photo. And I was like, wow, I can really make money off of this. Like there's something to this and it's working for me. So from there, I began building my audience and I've been fortunate enough to work with so many brands, lifestyle brands like Black & Decker, Carol's Daughter, WeTV, the list goes on, Van Leeuwen. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of brands. And from that, I learned a lot of business, specifically in influencer marketing. And yeah, so now I'm here just working with brands and creating my own content and then also catering to my community that I've grown over the last few years.
Wow. And you said $17,000 for one photo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, no, you're like, yeah, that's just a drop in the bucket, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a unique circumstance because they were using my photo for a year and I never got paid for it. So then they wanted to use it again. Wow. And they were like, we'll pay you $1,000. And then when I read over the contract, I was like, it's worth a little more than this. So then I was able to get 17.
So how did you know? Like, that's a good, point. I want to get to that, but I want to take it in baby steps, like even understanding your worth. I know that, as a former broadcaster, well, I still host a high school academic game show. So I do have a presence on television, but I know that like through the years when people want to hire you to host events and to do things, it's always like, how much do I charge? Like we don't always know what our worth is. And a lot of times we find out after the fact that we undersold ourselves. We undercharged. We didn't charge enough. And, they're never going to tell you, I remember one time I got booked to do an event and I charged $1,200 to speak. And I found out the year before they had paid someone $10,000 to speak. And I even, knew the person who was doing the event and no one threw me a bone and no one said, Lisa, you can charge more. It's like you really are on your own. So learning to navigate those waters can be really scary. And I'm sure we all lose a lot of money in the beginning. So, going back to you, Abebe, but talk about like what you've seen over the years, because I know you've been in the game for a very long time. You've interacted with a lot of audiences, especially in the music industry. That's your niche, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about like what you've seen with the rise of social media, because you grew up in an era like me where there was no social media. Yes. And we had to, morph into and adapt really quickly. And I find that like my generation and above, like we really struggle with understanding and knowing how to adapt. Whereas Suli, I think your generation, you guys grew up with it. So there is a better understanding. So Abebe, talk to me about what you've seen and what you've learned through the years from an older generation's perspective. Not that you're old or anything, but from just a generation that didn't grow up with it.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot from events, So it's like sometimes when we do events, we would promote with flyers. That was the thing. You promote with flyers, you promote with word of mouth. So it was like a different type of manner and way of promotion, then gradually I learned the email marketing game, with the email blasting and the post and for the event. That was our Instagram, which was email blast. So with email blast, your diction had to be perfect, right, as far as like your spelling, your punctuation, because people looked at all that stuff, where now it's a little different with they're doing slangs, they're doing hashtags. And back in the days, you really had to know how to write to engage with that writer back in the days to kind of like get them to come to your event or come to your restaurant and check it out or come to whatever that you're doing. But then social media got introduced, which was MySpace first. Yeah. Then from MySpace, it was kind of cool because, MySpace was more of networking. It wasn't too much of the flashy, and the international stuff was good. And it's just been a long trail when it comes to the changing of social media. And it's just like, it's hard to explain because every day is changing every day, you know? So it's just about keeping up and staying relevant. There's brands I work with, like to the right here behind me, 2 Live Crew, where they were before me, a generation before me. So they have all the controversy, they had all the content, all the footage. So it was no problem to me to interject them into the business because they already had everything. They had the video, the public advisory sticker of all the stuff that 2 Live Crew went through. So it's just a lot when you talk social media, and it's just a lot.
I know. And then also like picking platforms, which I want to talk about,
yes.
Because I know that the different platforms all have served different purposes. And I think like, as I've been diving into it, because I started a PR company, and as I've been diving into it too and understanding it, and at one point I thought, okay, let me try this influencer thing. And when I saw it really takes, Suli, I tip my hat to you. It is a lot of work. And I know, you know, people hear, wow, she got paid $17,000 for a picture. But I know you put in a lot of work prior to getting that check. I know you've done a lot. So talk to us about like maybe some of your Suli, your platforms that you prefer to use, and you know, how you choose to determine where am I going to go and where am I going to grow.
Absolutely. So I think, I mean, the social media industry, or whatever you like to call it, is ever evolving. So I think it changes for me from time to time, because when I first started, I really just wanted to focus on YouTube. So I was focusing on growing my YouTube. And what happened was I would promote my YouTube videos on my Instagram, and I was getting a lot of traction. And plus I was already like, I knew a lot of people because I went to college and I was very social in school. So I had a bigger following. Not a big following, but I had a few thousand followers on Instagram. So I was able to grow a lot quicker on Instagram than I was on YouTube. So when I saw that, I said, hold on, let me focus on Instagram for a second. So I began growing my Instagram platform, and I really started to like bring brands to my channel and to my platform. But I think it's important to really think about who your audience is and what kind of content creator you want to be, right? So for me, I focus on Instagram, I focus on YouTube, and I also have a website where I have like a newsletter community that I like to communicate with throughout the week. There's people who are Pinterest creators. There's people who are TikTok creators. For me, I try to stay away from TikTok a little bit just because I feel like it's not so much my lane. I like being informative, relatable, and yeah, just informative and relatable. I think TikTok is a little bit more like entertaining. It can be informative, but I think it all boils down to what kind of creator you want to be and what you have the bandwidth for, because every platform requires a different kind of content. And so you have to be realistic with yourself and say like, okay, I can only create this amount of content within 1 week, and let me focus on these platforms that I know are going to bring me an audience and ultimately bring me opportunities.
Wow, that's some good gems right there. So when you're deciding like which, because you know a lot of our members, the majority of our members, they work in media. Some of them are limited based on you know, the agency that they may work for. It's heavily regulated, but now there's been kind of a shift as well. At first, you know, that when you work in media, a lot of times your image is owned. So you are kind of limited, but we're starting to see a shift in that because there have been a few of the younger generations who did it first, started to break away, and their Instagram and social media started to grow. And we all know of this this weather guy, I forget his name, whose Instagram really grew because he was doing a lot of dances, and to the point where he resigned the other day. And it looks like he's going to be an influencer full time. So I can't remember his name. He's on there. I'm sure if someone drop it in the comments, guys, if you know who I'm talking about, so we can pull it up and I can show you. But it appears that, you know, this guy, he really mastered just social media to the point where it sounds like he's going to be making way more money. And we do know there's a lot of money to be made in all of this. So like with that, so let's say, Abebe, if you know you have a marketing company and you help people. So if someone in news media came to you who works in the industry, radio, TV, all of that, how would you advise them to grow their social media? Like what would be like the first step that you tell them, assuming that, you know, they don't have a lot of chains on their hands and regulation with work? What would be the first step that they should take to grow their social media?
Well, like definitely build your campaign and like, know your demographic, know who you're selling to, with at the same time knowing where you're going. If it's like a media person, like let's say a sportscaster, like the level of power that a sportscaster has on the news or the media is one thing, but then on social media, if he was to create different things, like I'll give you an example, like Dan Levitard, and you can look him up. He's stronger online to the point where television came and grabbed him because he was so strong online. And that is such a double-edged sword, which is a great way, because your online is strong and TV grabs you, you in cruise control. You just got to keep pushing your online, and just coming with that campaign. And you got to think out the box, because the game has totally changed. All the rules that we grew up with, let's throw them out the door. There's nothing wrong with, the other day I asked my dad to do a TikTok dance. He laughed at me, but when he did it, the thing exploded. Like, you know what I'm saying? Exploded, because TikTok is just starting to monetize music now, because they wasn't really paying the way they should be paying. But now they're getting their stuff together with that, and like all the records that are being broke during the music aspect is broke on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the kids' age, they're not listening to the radio no more. You're 14, I say by 18 and down does not even listen to radio. They listen to social media, and that's how they engulf their music. So I would find like that media person or that newscaster to like get involved with just the weather guy. He's dancing, he's making $10,000 to $15,000 a post, right? If that weather guy posts 4 times for the day, let's say he's getting 10,000, he's making $40,000 a day, and let's say he's working 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
it's not a joke, man. The other guy, Dan Rue, the one that does the dancing and all that. Like, I've done campaigns with those guys, and mix me with Quay and all those guys, and those guys are like $15,000 a post, and there's like one post on their TikTok, one post on their Instagram, and if they like you, they'll give you one more. You know what I'm saying? But imagine the bigger brands, like Jason Derulo is an artist that I grew up with and I worked with for so many years. Henry and his whole family. Jason Derulo is damn near $75,000 a post. You know what I'm saying? But when you got brands like Sunkist and Kellogg's, and they got it, you know what I'm saying? But us that we're trying to, not everybody's gonna have those Jason brands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As us, we gotta hustle, because content is king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I even think Jason's brand is bigger than his music career.
I agree. Because he transcended. He didn't wait for the time. Like, here we look at this. Like my boy Sia, it's called HR Booking. If you look on his Instagram, he's a booking agent for Jason. Jason was in like Istanbul last night collecting a major check. He went for a different demographic. He went for a different vibe. Like, there's people don't understand it's a world out there, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, say I was to drop a song, right? And I'm a rap song in America, right? I want to get my Indian people involved. I'm going to find out who's the hottest Indian act. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going to vacillate and I'm going to vibe with that, because it's a different culture, it's a different religion. It's so many different ways to take music and take products. It's great. It's great, but just know your demographic, because there's all type of people, and people forget it. It's not just urban people. It's not just Spanish people. It's all type of African people. It's so many, you know what I'm saying? You guys can.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because I think we do tend to think that we're just in this little bubble, and we don't think outside this bubble. We keep thinking that, I'm just talking to people in South Florida, but there could be someone in Kenya watching this because 100%. We're going to stream it. Mm-hmm. There could be someone in Jamaica watching it, somewhere in Brazil, so I think that it is hard sometimes to realize that through social media and the internet, our demographics have changed. And, you guys brought up a lot, and both of you were saying, know your demographics, know your demographics. And this is something that I struggle with as well. So I'm going to ask the question, not just for myself, but for everyone. How do you know your demographics? Like, how do you know who you're really talking to? Because I know, like, even I don't have a whole lot of followers on Instagram, but I have a lot of interaction. Like, people interact with me constantly, and I interact with them constantly. But I've never gotten paid for a post, or, I've had, I get those little sorry DMs talking about, oh, we liked your page, blah, blah, blah. All that other stuff that you just block. So how do you know your demographics, as you both keep saying? I'm going to start with Sulian, and I want Abebe to jump in.
No problem.
Absolutely. I think the best way that I can sum it up is know the problem that you're trying to solve. And
ooh, good one.
yeah, the answer that you're trying to give it to. So for me, it really started off as like, I have natural hair and people want to know, how in the world did you manage to have curls that are red? They're not curls right now, it's my hair straight. But how did you manage to have curls that are red and not damage your curls? So all my content was around natural hair and natural hair. And then after a while, your demographic slowly evolves because you begin to peel back layers of who you are, and people ask you little questions that are outside of your hair. So people began to ask me, what is your makeup routine? I have brown skin, but I can't find a foundation for it. So then I incorporated makeup, and then people started asking me about my faith and what I do with wellness and how do I incorporate my faith in my everyday routine. So I think, one, knowing what are the problems that you want to solve, and then really answering the questions that people have, because people will tell you what they want from you without telling you what they want from you. So it's not like people are saying to me, we want to see more of this, but they're asking me questions in hopes that I'm creating the content to answer those questions. So I think really focusing on what are the problem areas, and also what are the communities that you want to contribute to. So apart from hair and beauty and stuff like that, I'm also big on racial justice and just justice in different communities. And so I try to spread awareness on that with the platform that I do have. And those are things that are near and dear to my heart. And apart from hair and beauty, that's a part of who Suli is. And I'm going to bring who I am wherever I go. And so I make sure to bring that with me too.
So you don't step away from your core. Like your core is, Suli starts with the hair care, and then now it's just gone into facial and what I do makeup, and you've never stepped outside of that based on what's been asked of you. So let's say maybe you want to incorporate animals or your dog, but if your audience isn't asking you about that, you don't. Am I getting you correct?
So I think for me, I focus on like the main areas and what people are asking me for, and then I'll peel back certain layers. And when I see that people are interested in it, I'll continue to share more of that. Not to say that I wouldn't share it voluntarily, but I noticed that the things that I focus on more, the areas that I focus on most, are what people are asking me for most. And then whatever I peel back more of, it's just more so, this is who I am and this is how I show up in the world. And so this is how I'm going to show up here.
Okay. Abebe, how would you,
Well, what I do is I check my insights, which is like my numbers, you know what I'm saying? And like on Instagram or on Facebook, there are different things that can tell you how many men are opening you, how many women are opening you, how many different things. Then there's other programs that you can get like that are very more intricate to kind of like figure out more of insights, you know what I'm saying?
So, drop some names. Don't just say there's programs. You got to drop some names, man.
Okay, before I leave, I'm gonna drop a name, man. This program it may cost a little something. It costs like $150 a month, but like for the average person using that program, I wouldn't suggest it because remember, I'm looking up songs. I'm looking at streams. Okay. I'm looking at this guy tells me, "Hey, man, I streamed 1 million times already for my single." Then I pull it up. All the streams are like in Istanbul. Like, you got like that are in locally where he lives at, so I know that his streams are fake. Like, you know what I'm saying? But do I not want to work with the guy? Yeah, I still may want to work with him because it may have talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? But still, that's what that program. So I'm gonna get you the name and everything. But checking your insights, coming up with strategies, and just knowing where you want to go. You got to really feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's like an interconnect thing. It's almost like when you deal with music, it's called a trifecta, right? I'm on the radio, I'm on Spotify, and I'm in the streets. So to win and just really know your demographic and how you pick it is a trifecta. You may do a little bit of face-to-face, right? With a little bit of social media and another platform. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are let's say, a beauty expert, you can still have a Spotify playlist. You know what I'm saying? Of songs.
I have playlists and people ask me for my playlist weekly. So that's
another way to gauge and figure out the things you can do by entrapping a different demographic. Oh shit, I didn't know they like music. Oh, I didn't know they like this. Oh, I didn't know they like to work out. Oh, I didn't know they like to do this.
That's dope.
This is a 24-hour job and you have to love this. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around this. Like, it's a Sunday and this is nothing for me because every Sunday we in office anyway, planning the whole week. So I'm already ready for days like this. But you just got to check your insights and you really got to have that trifecta by touching the people and touching social media, because everybody may like you on social media, but are they reacting to you in person. It's almost like when you drop an album, right? And it's like 5 songs on this album. You say number 2 is going to be the single. Number 2, man, it's going to be hot. You spend $50,000 marketing number 2. You drop the album, and everybody's feeling number 5. You know, wasted 50. Now you go to your record label. Please, I need they're feeling it. It's like, yo, well, go get it on your own, man. You got to show me something because you told us to go behind number 2 and nothing happened. That's why you got to do your market research. And Spotify and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram is like my market research because I can post something and I know if it's reacting or it's not reacting. I know if they're feeling that post or not feeling that post. I've gotten up in the morning and posted, and by 7 a.m. I post at 5 in the morning. At 7 a.m., my studio's booked out. My phone is ringing. My dad. You know why? Because I caught everybody on that algorithm. You know what I'm saying? I caught everybody in that morning as they get up. It's all psychological too, on top of the computer game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know when people are waking up. Everybody wakes up like in Miami, let's say 7, 8 o'clock, dropping their kids to school. They're trying to post at the same time, trying to brush their teeth. By the time they scroll, I'm already on their timeline. Like, I hate this guy, man. He's already up. He's already.
No, that's good. Do you schedule your posts or are you?
We're up. We're up. My team is up, but they know 5 in the morning to 10 in the morning is business. That's the most intricate time. That's the most. That's when they're looking, and you can beat everybody by the time the explosion, the algorithm happens at 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. And if I may add, I would just say this industry is very lucrative in that. It's social. I think people forget social media is social. It's a social type of media, right? So a lot of industry pay for focus groups. They pay to get in contact with the people who are using their stuff. When you have a platform, you don't have to do that. You have the benefit of being able to directly ask people. So I think for me, having a community and being in communication with community is crucial because I'll send out an email via newsletter and say, guys, I just want to know, what do you guys want from me? Or what is this? And I'll get exactly the answers that I need, as opposed to have to spending 3 hours Googling or paying for a focus group. That's the benefit of social media. And I think sometimes people underestimate the power of just really going to your community and asking them, or even Instagram Live. Like I get so many ideas from people on Instagram Live because they feel like they're in the room with you. And so they want to tell you everything at once. I want to see you do this, or I love when you did that. And I think people underestimate that. Like it's social. Let's be social. We don't have to be so strategy is important and it's great. And I think that there's a time and place for those things, but also like, leverage the fact that this is social media and speak to your people.
I mean, you guys I feel like this is just for me. Like I'm learning, and I know there's other people learning, but I'm just so excited to speak to both of you because, you've been down that road that so many of us are trying to travel down. And I would say that how do you really grow the numbers though, right? Like I'm hearing on Instagram. Instagram is definitely my choice. Like that's where that's my jam. Just because it just seems the easiest to me to do. Twitter, it's just, that's a whole nother thing. That's, I know that there's different levels to all of it. I've also heard good things about Pinterest too. Like I hear for SEO purposes, you should really be on Pinterest.
Soccer Mom Central.
Yeah, and I hear like Facebook is the community. So like, let's say you have, you can have a Sully G community or a BB Lewis Circle House community on Facebook.
Even that neighborhood. What's that neighbor, that app? Where it's like you have to be in the neighborhood.
I know what you're talking
about.
Next door. I've known people who've made thousands of dollars, but next door you can't just put an ad up because they're gonna shut you down.
Right. You have to go in and comment.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. So if you put that strategy into the next door, into regular social media, and finding out what the gauge on what people like. There's people on next door that love that people hate them. They love it. And they'll put the comment like, yo, this pothole's been here forever. By the time, and then at the end of all the comments, he's like, I also have a roofing company.
Yes, I come fix that. I come handle it. But no, it's true. I'm on there. I just deleted it because it was driving me crazy. But I'm on next because I'm the president of my association in my community. So I do go on there to spy and to see what are people talking about, what's going on. So you're right. It's another community, and you start to see who are the crazies in my community. If I need someone to come and power wash my windows, who can I hire? That's where I go for recommendations. Google reviews, I'm a Yelper. Every time we travel, I'm on Yelp to see what restaurant I'm going to. You know, so there's so many communities. But I want to talk about the numbers, right? Like I know me particularly, I've been stuck under 3,000 followers, and it's like I feel this is my rationale that I've come to is that I'm 43. And so my generation, I feel we're busy, we're working, we're doing things. So the people that I think is my demographic, they're not spending a whole lot of time on social media. Now, I'll watch my kids. I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and well, the 9-year-old, even the 9-year-old. Oh my gosh, he'll post something and I'm gonna have to show you on his social media and he will get so many views and followers. And I just feel like the younger generation has such an easier job because their people interact more. I feel like the older generation will look at stuff and we won't like it, but we'll be like, oh, that's cute, but we'll just keep going because we didn't really grow up with it and that just wasn't our jam. So how do we grow the social media? How do we get to that point where we can get those numbers? So I want to show you an example. My son, this is his Instagram, and I don't know, can you guys see these numbers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see this? Is
oh my God, he has 11,000 on one of these.
No, this one says 297,000 views.
Dang.
This little video, just him doing this, his video game. And you know, I had to turn off the comments because there were so many comments, but 1.6 million, 80,000, like just from him. And we're not monetizing this, you know, and everyone's like, you need to put him on YouTube. You need to do this. And again, I'm so busy working and just living life and doing things. Trying to learn all that is a new thing. So let's go back to my original questions because Abebe, like you, I can talk. So
it just I would say like interact with your fan base, give them incentives, you know, to follow your page, create consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Hard
of your content, and also pick like a day where like you go live and you speak to them, and you come like I'm more tip based. I used to be more party based with the events and everything that I'm doing, but my algorithm has totally changed because I'm doing more tips. So my algorithm is moving a little bit different because trust me, they know everything. They know how many times you stopped on this page. Oh, you stopped on this guy's no shirt page for 10 seconds longer than you stopped on this outfit. Like the algorithm watches everything, you know? So I just say, I like being more tip orientated and more teaching orientated because algorithms, it just flies like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Lisa, you'd give a tip like, what do you do when you about to go on stage and do a public speaking and you get nervous? Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people will watch that tip and say, thank you. Then you say, hey,
you know what I do? It's funny you say, you know what I do? I got it from High School Musical. Right before I go on, I do this thing. I go, and I know it's stupid, but it works. It gets me.
Yeah, it's your thing.
To perform. And I saw it on High School Musical when my kids were little. And that has been my routine. Like, just like when someone's going for the free throw line, a basketball player, and they have to go shoot. And they have their ritual. Well, they'll do this or they'll bounce the ball 3 times and then they'll let it go. So it's true. I thank you for that, Abebe. We all do have our little rituals to grow the numbers. Well, I mean, whatever we do, but the tips, it's good. I always feel like we have to also in our space separate ourselves to be the expert in what it is that we're doing. And I think that that's really important that we show people. Like, I find a lot of people come to me about like marriage tips. I've been married 20 years and we like each other still. So I think it's kind of obvious on my page. We still dig each other. And people ask me things, but how do you get over the point where I don't ever want to come off as if I'm narcissistic. I don't ever want to come off as if I'm better than all of you because I'm not. And so how do you juggle that? I want to offer tips, but not because I think I'm in a better place than you, or I want to show you my life, but not because I think mine is better than yours. I think the empath in me kind of struggles with that. So how do you get around that? Because Suli, you post a lot of yourself and you're beautiful, and I'm sure you probably have gotten some kind of hate. Oh, she thinks about, even you can get it from your family. Why are you posting so much? Or why are you out? Why do you put your business out there? I've heard that. You know, you put everything out there, and I don't. I really don't.
It looks that way, but you don't. Like, you don't. Yeah. I would say for me, it's more like, again, and it may sound redundant, but again, it's really focusing on answering the questions people have. Think about it. If I show up every day on social media and I just do whatever I want to do, oh, today I feel like telling you guys about my makeup, or I feel like I look so cute, everyone's going to think you're just talking about yourself, because it's kind of like in person. Nobody asked you, right? So why are you
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody asked you. But when you start focusing on doing things that are answering people's problems, it becomes selfless. You're focusing on your community, which again is what it all comes back to. But it's also the consistency piece of it, which is the hardest piece, but it builds the relationship. So I can share with you that about 2-3 years ago, I went through kind of like a difficult time in my life. And I felt like I went through a depression. It was more so like I was really just getting up to go back to sleep, because I didn't know what my purpose was. Yeah. I wasn't really looking forward to anything. But there was this one YouTuber who I have a relationship with her now. Her name is Jade Kendall. At the time, her name was Lipstick and Curls. And she would do curly hair tutorials and videos and just share her life. And I literally would wake up and just wait. I knew she posted on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. or something like that. So I would wake up looking forward to her videos, and then I would like go back to sleep. Aww. Right. But like that got me through a tough time in my life. But her showing up consistently made me feel connected with her. It made me feel like I had a relationship to her. And it ultimately brought me here, because she was the only person I watched. And so I learned everything I know because of her. And that I could never say that she's, you know, all about herself or she's focused, because the things that she talked about really got me through a tough time. So I think that when you create content and show up consistently, you relate to people and connect to people in a different way, that it's way bigger than a lipstick or a makeup product. It has a lot more to do with life and lessons and stuff like that.
You like that got me right there. Like you really touched me hearing that. And I hope she's heard this from you.
I told her.
She knows. Good. And you know what, that makes all the sense, you know, and even if some of us don't get to the point where we monetize our social media, I have gotten those DMs where people have said to me, Lisa, I really appreciated that you posted this, or I really love seeing your love. I really love seeing, you know, the way you mother and the way you parent. And, you know, I've gotten those DMs, like, keep it up. And it's hard when you are working full time, you're, you know, small business owner, and you're getting your things going, and you're raising a family, and you're trying to be a good wife and a good daughter. But hearing you say that, Suli, I hope that everyone else hears that it's so much bigger than just social media. It's so much bigger than us just posting. It's really about us touching lives. And Abebe, and what you're doing too, you're changing lives. Like you're changing the trajectory of so many people's lives and what they can afford and how they can feed their families, and what you're doing, opening up the studios to them. So I just want to, again, just, you know, tip my hat off to both of you and say kudos for the space that you've owned and for walking in your purpose, because it's amazing. I want to really, you know, I still want to talk about, you know, monetizing. So let's say we've gotten to this point where we're touching lives and we're doing all of this, and we get hit up in our DMs, right? And a brand comes to us. How do we know how to maneuver that and shift into the monetization of what we've built? Abebe, I'm going to have you start with that, because I know you've been dealing with contracts for a very long time. Unmute yourself.
It just really matters what the brand and who the brand is. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you may just want to look, you know, like with the brand, and like, hey, we're going to do barter service. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to post like I'm wearing your brand. You're going to make me look luxurious. And then here comes 4 other brands that's really going to pay me. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how you do it. But it doesn't matter. Like if Adidas would come to me, or a brand would come to me, they know I got the celebrities, or like my niche would be the Caribbean market. I'd be like, hey, I can get you popping very much quickly in the Caribbean market. My dad's Rastafarian, in a circle. I can send me some red, green, and gold Adidas, and I'll start wearing them and start posting them, and let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff I do is not no over the night. I'm not the influencer crew that's going to post you at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock you sold out. You know what I'm saying? But within time, you will see an increase in what you're doing. And I'm going to help you with your monetization across the board. Because to me, there's many different ways to monetize, right? My little brother gets a hit record and he goes on Good Morning America and they're playing my dad's song, introducing him. Now that it's like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to monetization, it can come in many different ways. To really monetize on YouTube, you need a lot of followers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instagram is kind of like they play games with you a little bit with the monetization. Facebook, everybody says they're monetizing. I haven't really seen nothing on Facebook yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of apps that are coming at me right now that are paid, like masterclass apps, where you do subscription based, where hey, do your school thing with me and you're going to get paid $29. Each person has a monthly fee or subscription fee of $29.99, and you come with the curriculum. That's the direction I'm kind of going. You know what I'm saying? That's why I give you a short tip orientated tend to take you to a bigger development, you know, which would be like a schooling or some type of master class where I can probably get more out of you. But if you donate some more money, I can give you like one-on-one. I can, you know, with that $29.99, that comes with a consultation one-on-one, just like we're sitting right here. And like, you get to ask me questions and I get to build my community. So monetization comes in a lot of different ways. You can sell t-shirts, you can sell merchandise. Like, funny story, the other day I posted something like, oh my gosh, it's going this and that and this. Like, I was acting like I was in trouble. Man, you should have saw the comments, man. People always watching your page. Let me tell you something, but they don't want to comment.
Yeah.
They watch you. So watch what you post, and then you'll see certain people like, hey, I didn't know this guy even watched my page. You know what I'm saying? But you'll see it's what you post. Like the whole shadow banning concept thing. Like I've seen when I posted that, I've seen people leave comments on my page. I didn't even know it's still alive. Like, you know.
Wow. I agree. What is shadow banning? Like, I hear it a lot. Can you just explain to everybody?
Well, it's just like when you post too much of the wrong things, too many like young lady posts too many bikini shots, or a guy posting too much, you know, things where he's getting like indications on and stuff like that, you know. And I don't think the word is shadow ban. I think it's another word, but it's just getting in trouble on social media. Basically, you know your guidelines, you know what you can and can't do, and then remember these are all computers that are watching you. So if somebody complains, the computer don't know if that person is an ex or a you, or you just got to stay within those guidelines. You know what I'm saying? So they can't do those things, because remember, it's not like a person's gonna evaluate. Oh, what's the name? She don't like him. They don't know. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of their haters.
And they are haters out there on social media that praying for your demise. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Right. Yeah. Suli, you want to add? Did you want to add something? Look, you want to say something?
I was just going to say, for me, specifically in the influencer space, I know that if I'm getting hit up on DM, 9 times out of 10, it's not a real opportunity, because we don't operate and do business through DMs. We normally do them through email. So for me, that's like a first indicator of like, okay, this is probably not a real partnership. And if it is a real partnership, maybe they'll say something like, hey, I love your work. Can I get your email so that we can talk? Because the truth of the matter is, I can't review contract. I can't sign NDA forms. I can't look at creative briefs through DMs. We have to speak on an email. So why not just start via email? So 9 times out of 10, if it's a serious proposal, it's probably not on Instagram. It'll probably be on email, which is why I put my email in my bio. And so a tip for anyone watching this who wants to be a creator, there is a button on Instagram that says contact me, right? So a lot of people feel like, well, I have my email on that little button on Instagram. I don't need to put it anywhere else. No, you also need to put it on your in your bio, because when brands are looking at your pages and looking at your accounts, 9 times out of 10, they're looking on desktops. On desktop, that button is not available. They need to be able to copy and paste your email and then go ahead and send that over and direct it to a mailbox. So make sure you put your email in your bio, but also in the button so that it's transferable via desktop and via mobile.
That's dope info. So those emails I got that I thought were jokes, they weren't. Oops.
Yeah. You likely want them to be, you want to reach out via email, because, and it's so funny that you said that, Abebe. I feel like sometimes the influencer space and just being on social media, it feels like that show Big Brother. Is that what it's called? Like all these brands are watching you, but you have no idea who's watching you until they say, we've been following you for a while. We love your stuff. So you have to be very mindful of what you're sharing, because the truth is you really never know who is watching.
Wow, look at that. Roderick says, Abebe, you say you're not an influencer, but you are to him.
Oh, look at Rod. Look at Rod.
Yeah, Abebe's lying. He is an influencer. He's been an influencer before the word even came out, because everyone knows you.
And as you work, you got to have friends like Rod, man. Friends like Rod who work at big publications like Sun Sentinel and great writers like that look into it and they're for the culture. Like anything that Rod does, I support. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because like, you know, like he does so much and he brings so much to the table, man. Like friends, like that's how you increase, like how you said, social media. So you got the social media, but then you got the face-to-face, the touching. Like I met Rod via email blast, you know? That's how I didn't meet Rod, like walked in and we spoke and we talked and we had a great time, and you know.
I need to meet Rod. Hey, Rod. It's Lisa. Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Rod. Rod has given me some of my biggest write-ups ever.
Oh, that's awesome. A big shout out to Rod. Good job. Good job. So let's talk hashtags, because, you know, when everything first started off, we started, you know, everyone was hashtagging. And then they were like, okay, don't put the hashtag in your, you know, your section here, like hashtag. And then you're hearing don't hashtag. Like, what is the story? Because I know algorithms keep changing. And what's the story about hashtags?
Yeah, so I can say before the pandemic hit, hashtags were really gaining a lot of traction. I grew a lot of following through my hashtags. I grew a lot of just like of my audience through my hashtags. However, hashtags has changed. And to be honest, hashtags is one way that you can get shadow banned. So if you are repeatedly using the same hashtags in every single post, you will likely get shadow banned, which basically just means that Instagram will not show your page or your content to your followers for a certain amount of time. And that's just because they're interpreting it as this is a bot account or this is a spammy account, because sometimes you see a lot of hashtags and it can look very spammy, which is not usually the case, but that's why you want to alternate your hashtags. However, on the front end, hashtags is great because not only are you categorizing yourself so that people can find you, but you're establishing your platform. So on the back end, what Instagram does with hashtags is they say, okay, by these hashtags, I know that she's a beauty creator, she's a lifestyle creator, and she's a natural hair creator. They'll start pushing your content to the people who like those kinds of content. So when you like reels that are like a day in the life, or you like reels that are like funny and entertainment, Instagram is going to take the content from the hashtags similar to those, and they're going to push them towards you. So on the front end, it's good because you're, you know, establishing yourself and growing your audience. But on the back end, you're helping Instagram categorize you. Now, as far as how many you should use, it's changed a lot within like the last 2 years. Before, I would jam it all up and do 25 hashtags and whatever it hits. But now they're saying about 5 or 6 to 10 hashtags will do for your content. And so my strategy is I don't do anything that's super low, like 100, 200. And when I say that, I mean, that's the number of people following the hashtag. But I also don't do anything too high, which is in the millions. So I like to focus on putting hashtags that are anywhere from 25K of a following to maybe 500K, because you have a better chance of reach and you have a better chance of hitting and possibly going viral.
So no OOTD hashtags. Those are
not the general OOTD, because that was like, I think 8 million or something like that. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, if you hit, you'll hit 8 million. But think about how many people, I think there's like I don't know how many billion users are on Instagram, but think about the different time zones that people are on Instagram. So not only are you fighting against just like regular posting, but the moment that you post, there's probably like 100,000 people that are posting within the same hour. So then your content gets bumped all the way down from all of those people. So instead, why not focus on a hashtag that has 100,000 people? And then the chances are more likely for you to be able to stay relevant on the hashtag.
Okay, so I know there's apps that will tell you, or websites that'll tell you the most current and trending hashtags. Are those useful? Like Abebe, you can jump into about
yeah. All that are useful, but one thing is very useful is ads, right? Where like after you do an Instagram post, if you spend $5 for that one day, it'll help you move that post. Like say you have a lot of followers and you say something cool and you got a nice picture with a nice caption, as long as it's in the guidelines, spend that $5, geo map it to a certain area, and target people you're going to target, and do the $5, and it will work. Trust me, people that don't follow you see your post. You gain followers, you gain everything, you know? Instagram reacts when you spend that money, you know?
Awesome. I wanted to know if we have like about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to see, I'm in the comment section. Russell, thank you so much for telling us. Yes, it was the Dancing Weatherman, Nick Kosier. I hope I said his name right. Yeah, he's blown up. Like we literally sat there and watched. Oh, thank you. Russell says he wants to see the Curious Adventures of Chance. That's my son. He's crazy. If you guys have followed it, yes, he does. I have failed him as a momager. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you. And thank you, Constance, for.
Russell, that's the guy from Legacy, right?
Say it again.
He's a Legacy magazine, Russell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Russell is. Russell's a big time, big shot, big member also of and also a Florida Memorial University professor over there in the School of Journalism. So big shout out to you. Thanks for joining us. Also, you know, our website, he did put here to join NABJ South Florida. You can head to our website, which is nabjsouthflorida.com. We have Rod there as well. So thanks again, Constance, giving you a shout out. Anyone else who's watching today, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if we have any questions or if there's any, you know, last tidbits to talk about your journey. We have 8 minutes left. And I just wanted to like recap, you know, Abebe, go ahead, talk to us.
No, the main thing is just be consistent with your content. When I was more consistent with my content, I saw a better result. You know, I stayed consistent every day. When people wasn't watching me, when people, I did that video with Nas, Instagram wasn't out yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I captured that footage. You know what I'm saying? And I came back and I used it down the line, you know? But just be consistent with your content and try stuff, man. Try podcasting. From what I'm seeing in my business of music, everybody around me is getting rich off things that didn't come and became new. You know what I'm saying? Noriega's Noriega's name as a rapper made way more money.
As Drink Champs.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You got Smoke Champs. Now you got who knows what champs are coming with next. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's all about relationships and trying different things. Don't stick to the same thing. The game has changed. Like I saw a meme this morning where it says, "If you're raising your child like your mom raised you, throw that out the window because it's a new era." It's a new era. You know?
Yeah, I've seen, let me ask you this. We have a question from Constance, but I want to say it too. I saw somewhere where it said on social media, you're either selling the dream or the reality. Have you heard that? Or what do you think about that? Because I think that sometimes like my reality may be your dream. Yeah. You know, and like with Sully, with you, with your hair, Abebe, with your lifestyle, being around so many artists. So do you think that there are some people out there selling a dream and it's not the reality?
Yes, and they make it hard for people like us that are cool people that really want to see people grow and really want to work with people. You know, the fakers, you know what I'm saying? And not even talking about like fake views, fake hits. I mean, people that lie to you and say, I can take this song to #1, which is a lie because the game has totally changed. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can do this. I can sell 1 million products for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like influencers can do that, you know, because I met a TikToker the other day who showed me a proof where he was a third-party person in the Amazon purchase where he posted the Amazon product and that brand made $40,000 worth of sales in the next 2 days. You know what I'm saying? So it can happen, but it got to be that synergy, you know?
Yeah. Well, Constance has a question. She said, are you guys diversifying content like in TikTok or YouTube?
Yeah, so I think if I'm understanding correctly, I think that means repurposing the content. I am in the midst of doing that in the purpose of rebranding. YouTube is doing this thing where they're doing like YouTube shorts now. So they're like short versions of YouTube videos because I guess people are consuming shorter content. So I am currently in the process of repurposing my content so that I can do that. But again, you do have to remember that these platforms, just because they're social media doesn't mean you can just throw the same thing on every platform. YouTube is very different than Instagram because it has evergreen content. It has the SEO. So you have to be mindful of that when you're putting that up there. But there is a way that you can strategize and do that.
Definitely. I totally agree. You gotta, every time you post, it gotta be a different way. Like what you put on YouTube gotta be different than what you put on TikTok to what you put on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to let these platforms, you utilize these platforms in the best way that you could do it, you know?
Yeah. And I was just going to add on to what you mentioned earlier, Lisa, and say that monetizing is amazing. And it's, you know, I'm very fortunate to be able to get paid. I literally am full-time now. So I'm doing this full-time. I left my job. So it's wonderful. But I will say, if you're walking into this to get paid, you're not going to do well. Yes. Everyone wants to get paid, but the truth of the matter is there is a lot of work that goes into a 30-second video, you know? So there has to be something, a purpose greater than you wanting to get paid to do this. Now, if you're saying, I want the freedom and the liberty to have a life with my kids, and so I want to get paid so I have the freedom to be home as a mom or as a dad and experience my kids, then yes, because that's more than just having a check. You're asking for freedom. You're asking for being able to see your kids grow. And so that's why you do that. And so you create content that'll get you to that point. But if you're just saying, I just want, you know, some side money on the side, that's not going to sustain you, because there's been times where I've been getting paid consistently and I'm like, dang, but I'm so much more than hair and beauty. Like, how can I show up in a new way? Because the truth of the matter is money alone is not going to fulfill you. So yes, take the monetizing tips. Yes, do the market research, but also really think about, what is the fingerprint that you are trying to leave on this platform? What is the fingerprint that you're trying to leave in this world? And on the days when you get the hate comments, and on the days when the check is taking a little bit longer to clear than you anticipated, you need to have something else to hold on to than a dollar bill, you know?
Well, that was good. That was good. That's a serious gem right there. We have another question I want to get to before I let you guys go. Russell says, if your hits are in the thousands, do you have to officially sign a contract with IG or YouTube in order to get a check?
No. So specifically with Instagram, they're just now paying people for Reels. So I've gotten paid for Reels based on views, but that's certain people. That's not everyone. And the money that you normally get when you get paid is usually through affiliate links or brand contracts. So really, you don't really get paid from Instagram. You just get paid from like the brand partnerships. As for YouTube, you do get paid, but that's once you reach certain ticks or marks. So basically, you have to have 40,000 watch hours, a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. Like there's certain thresholds that you have to surpass in order to get paid. Once you do that, then you'll probably sign like a terms and agreement that just says like, you know, you're responsible for the content that you put up. It's kind of like any terms and conditions that you see, but it's not like I'm an artist and I'm signing to YouTube kind of thing.
Yeah. It's called the YouTube Partner Program. And everything she said is in that program. You gotta have guidelines and a certain amount of watch hours and followers for real. So that's when they see you taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Okay. So it's all work. Well, are there any other questions out there? I don't see anything else. I want to just like begin to wrap because we're almost done. But I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I've learned a lot. I'm still really confused, but because it seems like it's just so much, you know, it's so much to do. It's a lot of work.
You just got to go, Lisa. You just got to go.
I know. You know what it is? I think it's a level of perfectionism. Like, do all my pictures have to be perfect? Does everything have to be like lines up? You know, at one point I was posting a lot, and then my kids were like, "You're posting too many times a day." But then I heard you have to post 1 to 3 times a day. Yeah. And then, you know, I wasn't waking up at 5 a.m., which I think I might have to start doing. Yeah. You know, so just want to, you know, just say thank you so much for you guys taking time out of your busy schedules. Make sure everyone, if you're watching, please go and follow Abebe and Suli. Make sure you're keeping up with them the same way that they're showing their support to us. I really would implore you all to, you know, return that favor and show that support to them. Interact with their content, comment on things so that you can help them grow as well and continue to sustain themselves financially as well. We all need to support each other. So I just really want to thank you, Suli, and thank you, Abebe, for, again, taking the time out, dropping all those gems and nuggets. Guys, if you want to reach Abebe, what's the best way for them to reach you?
my Instagram at Abebe Lewis. There's my link tree. You can see everything that I got going on. And I do answer DMs. I do answer emails as long as you approach me properly. Not, hey man, I like you this, or like let me know. Like it's all about networking. Networking increases your network. You know what I'm saying? Your network. You know, so
that's right. And Suli, how can we reach you? What's the best way?
I second everything Abebe said. I'm on Instagram as Suli G with an underscore, but my name will just pop up if you do Suli G. You'll see like a lot more hair, and it'll be a lot more red because my hair is normally curly. But I also do answer DMs as long as you come correct, you come honest, and you come respectful. But I'm very active on my DMs, so feel free to shoot me any questions or comments that you have. And I just want to say thank you to this organization and to Lisa for having us. Like it's always great to be able to speak on your journey and to help someone else. So I appreciate this so much.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Again, if you guys are going to take pictures or anything, please hashtag Sunday Media Chats and make sure you tag Suli and Abebe and Nabj South Florida. So thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful Sunday. And again, goodbye. And post more, everybody.
Yes. Bye.